Idaho lawmakers are in their first week back to work at the State House, but lawmakers in Congress are just a few weeks ahead of them. The holiday break for Congress followed an extended government shutdown centered on a debate over health care. It's a topic that remains front and center. Idaho's congressional delegation is working through that debate. Joe Paris checked in with them for insight.
Conversation in Congress continues. What to do with the American healthcare system?
Well, we continue to work on the healthcare issue. I think that the affordability of healthcare is one of the biggest issues in America right now.
Idaho Senator Mike Crapo chairs the Senate Finance Committee. He has pushed for new ideas on what to do with the healthcare system in terms of what happens next after the ACA enhanced tax credits expired at the end of 2025. Republicans believe that it needed cost reform and it was fraught with waste, fraud, and abuse. Democrats believe that the program should continue as a difference-making healthcare policy.
Battle is over whether we need to have more federal spending or whether we need to have more reforms on the fraud, waste, and abuse that's going on. So the most prominent solution that we are trying to push for is to say that instead of paying 100% of the premium support for these enhanced premiums for people of all income brackets, that we limit to that premium support to people at 700% of poverty, and then we require that those people pay at least $5 a month. And if they have to pay $5 a month, then that stops the existence of ghost premiums or ghost policies that don't even exist. And we think there will be hundreds of billions of dollars of savings that will then translate into reductions in premiums.
Across the Capitol, Idaho Congressman Mike Simpson is focused on the same debate.
And what we've got to do is find a way to reduce the cost of health care. Republicans passed a bill end of December before we went home for the holidays that addressed that in a few different areas. But there's a lot of work that still needs to be done to reduce the cost of health care, not just subsidize it. The one bill that was mislabeled, I guess, or misnamed was the Affordable Health Care Act. And when it passed, we all said, the one thing this is not is affordable.
Simpson recently voted no on extending enhanced ACA tax credits, but does see a path where they are approved as debate continues.
I think you'll probably see those healthcare subsidies extended for a brief period of time. How long, I don't know. Maybe 6 months, maybe a year, while we try to get the rest of this done. But what the Democrats want is to just extend those healthcare subsidies for 3 years without doing any of the reforms that are necessary. And that's supposed to cost us $85 billion or something like that. We got to reduce the cost of healthcare is what we've got to do.
Question hangs over the debate. Will this cause another government shutdown when the current funding bill for the government runs out at the end of the month? Lawmakers are working through those budget packages right now.
It's not in anybody's interest to shut the government down. It's never good policy. It's never good politics. I've said that a million times. And I think the Democrats realize that now, too. Even though they talk about potentially shutting the government down, I don't think they really want to do that. So hopefully we'll get them all done in the next couple of weeks.
So piggybacking off of some of our coverage from earlier this week, Hunter, we know that it's a complicated conversation for some Idahoans to follow with proposed Medicaid and Medicaid expansion cuts here in the state of Idaho, questions about what's going to happen at the federal level. This is why we keep such a close eye on it here on the 208, because there's a lot of different moving parts. Going back to that government session or government shutdown, again, the current government funding ends at the end of this month. They're very close to getting 2 more pieces of legislation done that would essentially keep the government running financially. However, Congressman Simpson told me that what happened in Minneapolis, especially with the extra pressure with the ICE protests and the government interaction there is going to be maybe a little bit of a gum up works, is what he said, in terms of getting some of the Homeland Security budgets passed. So we'll see.
It maybe could shut down still, but they're still optimistic, fair to say?
Yeah, optimistic it doesn't happen, but you never know what in the news cycle could create a new problem in D.C.
Cautiously optimistic. Okay, Joe, thank you.